2.0, the channel is free from packet loss, but it is not free from bit errors. Okay, so when the channel is not free from bit errors, or when the channel is having bit errors in it, whatever the data that you transfer will have some bit errors in it. How do you recover it? So to recover it, we have understood that we will add checksum bits for the data what you send. That is 2.0, and and also we added like 0 and 1 as sequence number. That is, in 2.1 we added sequence number 2 and 0, which is termed as alternating bit protocol, and 2.0, 2.1 and 2.2, everything is called as stop and wait protocol, because whenever you have you send a packet, until and unless you receive an acknowledgement, you don't send the next packet. That's why it is called as stop and wait protocol. Whereas RDT 2.1 is called as alternating bit protocol, because the sequence number of every packet alters between 0 and 1. And now what is 2.2? 2.2 is NAC free protocol. That means negative acknowledgement free protocol. So if there is no negative acknowledgement, how do you inform the sender that a packet is corrupted? In that case, you have to send the acknowledgement of the previous packet again. So when the sender receives two acknowledgement for the same packet, or a duplicate acknowledgement for the same packet again, so sender will understand that there is some problem with the recently sent packet, and that will be transmitted again. So how do you maintain the synchronization between the sender and receiver? Again, by sequence number in the acknowledgement also. Is that clear? That is what 2.0 we have observed. So any questions still here, students? We are going to start with 3.0 today. You have any questions? Audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let us start with RDT 3.0. RDT 3.0, we assume that there is packet loss, and there is the presence of bit errors also. In that case, how do you, we know already how to handle or how to address the bit errors problem. Now, when a packet is lost, how do you get to know? A sender, how will a sender get to know about a packet loss? Can anyone tell me? I think I have already told this to you long back.
So based on the sequence numbers, sir.
Based on the sequence number, how? Like I say I send a packet now, and that the packet is lost. Receiver has not received at all to send either acknowledgement or negative acknowledgement. I am keep on waiting. Okay, so how sequence number will help here to address the problem of packet loss?
Receiver again resends the previous packet header.
A receiver have not received the packet at all. No, it is lost in the channel. Why receiver will send the previous packet?
So there should be a time, sir, like minimum this much time it should wait, and then ask for resend.
Okay, so do you think for like if you have a timer in the sender, and if the sender don't receive an acknowledgement within that time, sender will understand that the packet is lost in between and sender has to retransmit it. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you agree with this, students? Others?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you see the screen? Can you see the PPT?
The routers and they tell the sender, sir, that the packet is lost. Maybe that's how the sender gets to know.
What you said is a valid point, but that is not how the last packet is addressed. Why? Because there are thousands of end devices that will be sending the packets maybe through a particular router, and router cannot manage. Router can just say that there is huge traffic in the network, you slow down your transmission. That's all router can do. But router cannot see which packet is lost and who has sent that packet. I have to inform that particular user that the packet is lost. Router will not take care of that burden. Okay, it's a huge burden for the router. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Then time to leave after the packet's time gets expired after certain number of hops. Don't the receive router or something send a message to the sender, sir?
No, that also won't happen. Generally, what happens, say for example, A is sending a packet to B, and A, before sending the packet, just it switches on a timer. And in the basically they will have a mutual agreement that when I send a packet, receiver has to receive, and receiver has to send the acknowledgement, and the total round trip time should be of 2 seconds. Imagine, of 2 seconds. So when the sender sends a packet, it will switch on the timer, and within 2 seconds, if the sender doesn't receive an acknowledgement, sender will understand that there is packet loss. Is that clear? Even if the transmission is very slow, if it is taking more time, even without the packet loss, still sender will retransmit that packet. Is that clear, students? That's how the last packet is addressed in RDT 3.0. We will go through the slides. Is the slide visible, students, to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. RDT 3.0. Can you see RDT 3.0 channels with errors and loss? That slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. RDT 3.0, as I said, we assume that there are loss in the channel, and there are also bit errors. And we have already encountered how bit errors can be handled. Now we have to see how a packet loss should be handled. What is the new assumption? Underlying channel can also lose packets. Checksum, sequence number, acknowledgement, retransmission will be of help, but not enough. So how do you approach it? Sender waits a reasonable amount of time after acknowledgement. Retransmits if no acknowledgement received in this time. If the packet just delayed, okay, retransmission will be duplicate, but sequence number already handles this. Is that clear? So you may have a question, sir, if the packet transmission is delayed, but it is not lost, still sender may end up in transmitting another packet again, which will create duplicate packets. Yes, we agree with that. But since every packet have a sequence number, so the things will be handled there. But what you have to understand here is it is not let us see in the next slide. Okay, receiver must specify sequence of packets being acknowledged, requires countdown timer. So let us see how it works. You can see here RDT 3.0, students. Hope this diagram is visible to you. Okay, hope this diagram is visible to you. Let me take a pointer. Okay, you can see here a sender is waiting for a call 0 from above. Call 0 because sequence number alters between 0 and 1. It is waiting. And here what happens, whenever it receives a packet, a function called RDT send, it creates a packet with 0, data, and also checksum. Okay, and then it sends that packet. During that time, you can see in the action start timer. It is starting a timer. Okay, then what happens? It will be waiting for the acknowledgement for that particular packet 0. So what happens? It receives a packet, and if the packet is corrupt, or if the acknowledgement received is for sequence number 1, that means it is not a proper packet which you are receiving, so it will not do anything. You can see if this symbol, it will not do anything. If the packet received, if the packet sent, if the acknowledgement received is corrupt, and it is, or if it is acknowledgement for the previous packet, it will wait. Why it will wait? It will not do anything. Why it will wait? Because until and unless the start timer ends, it will wait. Is that clear? Only after the timeout, you can see here, students, only after the timeout, it retransmits that packet and starts the timer. Is that clear? It only after the timeout it retransmits the packet and starts the timer. Even if it is corrupt, it is not immediately going to send the packet again. It will wait. Is that clear? You can see here, do nothing. It will only after the timeout it will retransmit that packet and starts timer and wait for that particular acknowledgement 0 again. Okay. And suppose it receives a packet which is not corrupt, and if it is acknowledged, if it is an ACK, we know that there is no negative acknowledgement here. If it is an ACK for the same packet which it is waiting for, that is ACK 0, then what it will do, it will stop the timer because it has received the packet acknowledgement properly. It will stop the timer and it will go to the next state where it will be waiting for a call from above for sequence number 1. Is that clear? So what happens after that? It makes a packet with sequence number 1 after receiving the RDT send. It makes a packet, waits there and adds the checksum, then sends that packet and starts the timer. And remaining thing is very diagonally same to this here, what it was doing here. Is that clear, students? Can you just go through this diagram? I'll give you 2 minutes. If you have any questions here, you can ask. Hope this diagram is clear to you. The difference between RDT 2.2 and 3.0 is just you are starting a timer. That's all. There is no other difference. Students, these diagrams are very important. You should understand this diagram carefully. And even if we ask you to write the diagram, you should be in a position to write this diagram. Okay. Because if you have understood the concept properly, you can easily write this diagram. If you think you can mug up and write this diagram, not at all possible. You will definitely make mistakes. So any questions here, students? RDT 3.0? Yes. Shall we go to the next topic then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So RDT 3.0 in action. So what happens? Sends a packet with sequence number 0. Acknowledgement has to be sent with acknowledgement 0. So you can see this is A with no loss. Okay. And packet 1 sent, packet 1 received, like that it continues. What happens in the receiver side? If there is a packet loss scenario, you can see here packet sent, and for that you are getting an acknowledgement, and both are sequence 0 and acknowledgement 0. Then packet 1 is sent, it is lost. You can see here. So what happens next? A timer. The timer times out. Okay. So what happens after the timeout session? There is a retransmission of packet 1 and you have received an acknowledgement, and after that again you are transmitting next packet 0 and ACK 0. Is that clear? So this timeout, the timer will actually help RDT 3.0 to address the problem of packet loss. Okay. So what happens when an ACK is lost? Acknowledgement is lost. Let us see that. You can see an acknowledgement is lost. Even at that time, sender will not have an information about packet loss. Is that clear? So what happens after the timeout? Again, the packet is sent. So delete, duplicate and send ACK 1. Is that clear? So again, acknowledgement for that ACK will be sent from the sender, and again the things will continue. Is that clear? So this is how when an acknowledgement is lost, that will be addressed. So what happens when there is a premature timeout? Is that clear? What is it? Let us see. That means premature timeout in the sense packet is not lost. It is still on the way reaching the sender. Is that clear? Acknowledgement has to reach here, but what happens? There is a premature timeout. It is not basically a premature timeout. Basically, the acknowledgement what the receiver has sent to the sender is very slow. There might be huge congestion in the network. There might be slow bandwidth. Because of that, the acknowledgement has not reached the sender. Is that clear? So what happens at this time? There will be a duplicate packet. Okay. You can see here the packet is received here. Acknowledgement for one has been received here. So the packet is retransmitted. In that case, upon receiving the acknowledgement, you can see 0 is sent. Again, one is acknowledgement for one is sent. So basically, there will be some sort of confusion here. Is that clear? There will be some sort of confusion here. And to encounter this, there is a solution, and the solution is not having only 0 and 1 for sequence number. Let us have a wide range of sequence numbers. Is that clear, students? Just not 0 and 1, because you can see there is a confusion in this part. If you have 0 and 1, the packet sequence number and acknowledgement number will be alternating, will be altering from 0 and 1 always, which might create in some problems. So instead of having only 0 and 1, let us have a wide range of sequence number, which will also definitely help to solve this problem. Am I clear, students? Is it clear the problem with RDT 3.0?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is not just a problem with stop and wait protocol. See, we observed that RDT 2.1, 2.2, 2.3 and 3.0, all four are stop and wait protocols. Stop and wait means what? You send a packet and unless you receive acknowledgement, you don't send the next packet. Stop and wait. Is that clear? And RDT 2.2, RDT 2.1, 2.2 and 3.0, all the three are alternating bit protocols. 2.0 is not alternating bit protocol, because RDT 2.0 you have not started acknowledgement and sequence number there. Okay, so wherever you started 0 and 1 as acknowledgement and sequence number and acknowledgement number, those protocols we call it as alternating bit protocol, and they are also stop and wait protocols. So can anyone let me know what will be the other problem with stop? These protocols have at least solved a few problems, like if a packet loss, how do you handle it? If there is bit errors, how do you handle it? To some extent, these protocols are handling it, right? If not 100%, at least maybe 75-80% they are handling it properly. But there are some flaws. We will see to that, how to handle those flaws. But beyond that, what might be the issue with this stop and wait protocol? Can anyone guess? Yes.
So this might increase in the premature timeout or the delayed ACK. You had mentioned that we'll be after certain time the packet will be again resent and that will go on again and again till the acknowledgement is back to the receiver sender. So in that case, already there is a congestion in the network, so that might increase because of resending it again and again, maybe.
Okay. Okay. Any other answers?
Sir, this is just a question, sir. Like, since we have a sequence like 0 and 1, even if there is a premature timeout, it should get back, it should adjust itself, no, sir. Like, if the sequence number is not correct, how will it proceed?
You see here, if there is a premature timeout here. So what happens right after the timeout, packet 1 is retransmitted. Okay. But you can see here, acknowledgement for packet 1 has been already sent. It is reaching here. So just right after receiving this, don't you think packet 1 is transmitted twice here? And also packet 0 is transmitted right after receiving the acknowledgement for ACK1, and ACK1 acknowledgement is again sent here. See, basically what happens here, it's a stop and wait protocol. That's why things are quite okay. Okay, if you are going for pipelining, if you are sending multiple packets continuously without waiting for stop and wait, there will be a lot of problem here. Okay, that is what we are going to learn in future. That means after this RDTs. Okay, so that's the reason why we have to find out, okay, everything is fine here with RDT, but what is the other problem with RDT? Okay, I will answer your question maybe after 10-15 minutes, because we will start with the pipelining, then you will clearly understand the answer for your question. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Like we have delete duplicate for receiver part, but
Yes.
we can also have it for the sender part so that
Yes,
this
yes,
premature
yes.
timeout.
I understand that. That's what I will let you know. See here, apart from the flaws what we have in stop and wait, don't you think a sender after sending the packet is waiting? It's waiting for some period of time here, which is a waste time. Why? Because sender has all the resources like bandwidth. It has the data which it has to be sent. Everything is there with the sender. Is that clear? Sender have data to send, sender have bandwidth, sender have internet connection, everything is there for, with the sender to send a packet, but it is not sending. It is waiting here. Don't you think the sender is wasting its resources for a longer period? If you consider one packet, it is very negligible. But if you are sending thousands of packets continuously with stop and wait technology, don't you think you are wasting the sender's resources in a large extent? Do you agree with this point, students?
Yes.
So to solve this, we will see performance of RDT 3.0. RDT 3.0 is correct, but performance stinks. Why? One, there is 1 GB link, 15 milliseconds propagation delay, and 8000 bits packet. So L by R is 8000 divided by 1 GB is 10 power 9 bits per second, 8 microseconds. The transmission delay. What will be the sender utilization? Please note this formula, students. L by R divided by RTT plus L by R. So L by R is just 0.008, but RTT plus L by R is, consider the propagation delay is 15 milliseconds. Though the one way is 15 milliseconds and the two way RTT means one round trip time. That means 15 milliseconds plus 15 milliseconds put together 13 milliseconds, and L by R is 0.008. So you are utilizing the sender only this much, 0.00027. That much only you are utilizing the sender. If RTT is 30 milliseconds, 1 KB packet per every 30 milliseconds you are sending. 33 KB per second throughput over 1 Gbps link, which is very like you are not utilizing the sender at all. Network protocol limits use of physical resources. Is it clear, students? Please mute yourself. I am getting disturbance from someone. Please mute yourself, students. Okay. Am I audible, students?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you understand here? Sender utilization, sender is fraction of time sender busy in the time, a fraction of time sender busy in sending. L by R divided by RTT plus L by R. You have 8000 bits packet with 1 Gbps link. The transmission delay would be only 8 microseconds, but the utilization of the sender is only this much. How to find out that? It is L by R divided by RTT plus L by R. The rest of the time, even though you have 1 Gbps link, you are just sending 1 KB packet in 30 milliseconds, 33 KB per second, which is very slow. Okay, network protocol limits the use of physical resources. So how to overcome this? We have to stop working with the stop and wait protocol in this case. How to overcome this? Okay, let us see. You can see here, first packet bit transmit, it's a timing diagram of stop and wait operation. So first packet bit transmitted at T.0 and last packet bit transmitted at L by R. This is one complete packet. Is that clear? I have already told you, you are not going to send the packet, whole packet at a time. It is every bit of the packet is transmitted one by one. Is that clear? So it will take this much time to reach the receiver. First packet bit arrives, last packet bit arrives here, and then only after receiving the last packet bit you are sending the acknowledgement. Is that clear? Acknowledgement is a very small packet, so you are not drawing in this way. Okay, this is RTT, one RTT, round trip time. ACK arrives and sends next packet, that is T is equal to RTT plus L by R. This much time plus L by R is the total time of wait. Is that clear, other students? That's why you have the utilization equation as L by R divided by RTT plus L by R. Even though you have this much, you are waiting for this much, RTT plus L by R. Is that clear, students? So that will be a time consuming thing. So what is the next thing that can actually solve this problem? Instead of stop and wait, let us go for pipelining. Is that clear? What do you mean by pipelining? So you can see here, pipelining, sender allows multiple in-flight yet to be acknowledged packets. That means instead of sending one packet, you send multiple packets at a time and wait for a cumulative acknowledgement or a single acknowledgement. Is that clear? Or an acknowledgement for all the packets which you have sent, which comes one by one. Okay, range of sequence number must be increased here. That's what I told you. You cannot play with just 0 and 1 here. You have to increase the range of sequence number, because if you are sending 10 packets, you cannot just use only 0 and 1. You have to use 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. You have to continuously, you have the numbers. You should have the numbers of sequence numbers. So range of sequence number has to be increased, and buffering at sender and or at the receiver. Okay, you can see here only one packet is sent in the stop and wait. Here you can see the stream of packets have been sent. So first one is sent, then one more, like that. You are sending continuously. Even though you have not received the acknowledgement for the first packet which you have sent, you are sending multiple packets at a time. Is that clear? You can have a question now. Sir, what happens if a packet is missed in between? Say for example, third packet is missed, but you have already sent the fourth packet. Well, how will sender get to know that? We will see that. There are two protocols under pipelining which we are going to discuss, and those two protocols are go back N and selective repeat. Is that clear, students? So keep this in mind. In RDT, reliable data transfer protocols, we discussed RDT 1.0, 2.0, 2.1, 2.2 and 3.0. all those are stop and wait protocols. There are some problems with the stop and wait protocols with respect to sender utilization, so we are going for pipelined protocols. In pipeline protocols, you are going to study two different protocols, that is go back N and selective repeat. Is it clear, students? Do you have any doubts here before we go back N? Any question? You might have a few questions, but definitely those questions will be addressed when we study any one of this pipelining protocol, go back N and selective repeat. Apart from that, you have any other questions, students? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So hope there are no questions. So let me go to the next slide. Pipelining. How pipelining will increase the utilization of the sender? Let us see with the diagram here. First packet bit is transmitted at T.0 and the last bit of that packet is transmitted at L by R. You can see here, sender is not waiting for the acknowledgement of the first packet. It is transmitting 3 packets in the pipeline at a time. First packet bit arrives, last packet bit arrives, last bit of the second packet, last bit of the third packet arrives, and for every packet you are sending an acknowledgement here. Is that clear? So but you can see RDT of first packet is ending here, and within that time you are receiving the acknowledgement also. ACK arrives, send next packet T is equal to RTT plus L by R. So upon receiving the first packet, upon receiving the acknowledgement for the first packet, you are sending the fourth packet here. You can assume in RDT in stop and wait, what used to happen, only upon receiving the first packet acknowledgement you used to send the second packet. But here, upon receiving the first packet acknowledgement, you are sending the fourth packet, because in pipe you have already sent the 3 packets. Is that clear, students? So the sender utilization will be 3L by R divided by RTT plus L by R, which will increase the utilization. Okay, you can see here 3 packet pipelining increases the utilization by a factor of 3. Is that clear? Like that, if the pipelining number of packets in the pipeline is increased, that many times the factor of utilization will increase. Is that clear? Previously it was something RDT, the utilization is 00027. Here it is 00081. It is increasing. Is that clear, students? So that's why pipelining is more helpful and more advantageous compared to stop and wait. But you may have a question: what happens if the third packet is lost? Because before receiving the acknowledgement for the third packet, fourth packet is already sent. There might be confusion in the receiver end. You may have that questions. We will see how those things will be addressed. Okay, so there are 2 protocols, as I told you, pipeline protocols. One is go back N and selective repeat. What is the difference between these 2? We will see. Go back N, sender can have up to N unacknowledged packets in the pipeline. That means it can have N packets. It can send N packets at a time. Receiver only sends a cumulative acknowledgement. What do you mean by cumulative acknowledgement? Doesn't acknowledge packet if there is a gap. Okay, altogether it sends a single acknowledgement. That's what the meaning here. If you are sending 3 packets at a time, and if the sender receives acknowledgement for the third packet, so sender will understand that okay, there is no problem with the packets which I have sent, because it has received the acknowledgement for third packet. That means second and first has already reached the destination properly. Is that clear? That is what a cumulative acknowledgement. Sender has timer for oldest unacknowledged packet. When the timer expires, retransmit all unacknowledged packets. So this is one more flaw here. Say for example, you are sending 3 packets at a time. You can see here. Let me take up a pen. If this packet is lost, okay, and consider initially itself you are sending 5 different packets, okay, 1 2 3 4 5, and if the third packet is lost and then receiver doesn't receive the acknowledgement for third packet, receiver will receive an acknowledgement for the second packet alone. That means first and second has reached properly, but third has not reached properly. What go back N will do, consider fourth and fifth have also reached properly. Let me write it: 1 2 3 4 5. Fourth and fifth packet have been received by the receiver properly, but third is not received. Third is lost. Even though third is lost, the sender will send packet number 3, 4, 5 again, because from 3 it is lost. Third is lost. Is that clear? 3, 4, 5, everything it will send again. That's why it is called as go back N. From here, how much ever packets are there you have sent in the pipeline. If this is lost, go back N. From here, everything will go back. How many packets? N packets. How much ever is there here, from here, everything will go back. Is that clear, students? That is a problem, because you are retransmitting, you are creating duplicate packets, lot of duplicate packets. Is that clear? So that's a problem. So to overcome this problem, we have something called as selective repeat. What do you mean by selective repeat? I told you third packet is lost. If the third packet is lost, only, give me a second, students. Hello. Yes, sir. Sir. Announced. Tomorrow it is in the class hours. Sir, 2 minutes, I'll call you back. Still in the class. Okay, students. So what happens in the selective repeat? I told you this third packet is lost. Beyond that, fourth and fifth is also there. Selective repeat will send only third packet, which is lost. Fourth and fifth, it is not going to send. Is that clear? That is how the technology is. That is how the working procedure of selective repeat and go back N. Is that clear, students? So In go back N, when the timer expires, retransmit all unacknowledged packets. What happens in the selective repeat? Sender can have up to N packets in the unacknowledged packets in the pipeline. Receiver send individual acknowledgement for each packet, not cumulative acknowledgement. Keep this in mind. That's why this selective repeat can send only a packet which is lost. Is that clear? So individual acknowledgement in selective repeat. Sender maintains a timer for each unacknowledged packet. When the timer expires, retransmit only that unacknowledged packet. Is it clear, students, the difference between selective repeat and go back N?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we will stop here. We will take up go back N in tomorrow's class. After the quiz, we have quiz tomorrow in the class itself, that is second hour. In the beginning 20 minutes we'll have the quiz. See, quiz will be like this. Whatever the questions you get, you have to write a one line justification for each question, like why you have selected that answer, and you have to upload it. We will give you a link to upload your justification. So you have to, it might be a fill up the blank question, or it might be a multiple choice question. So whatever the question you get, you have to write a justification, just one line justification for it. For that we will give you more time. And after writing the justification, you have to upload the paper which you are writing in the justification. Is that clear? So that's how your quiz will be. Be prepared. First chapter, complete first chapter will be there for your quiz, and for T1, first and second chapter will be there. Is it clear? And today you have a lab, right? Okay. If possible, this week we will have a quiz about the lab portions also. If let us see, I will let you know about it after discussing with Ullah sir. Is it clear, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. You can leave.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine.
Stop the recording now.